Ryan from 4Cube, and today I'll be showing you how you can make your own Python web scraping bot to web scrape any information from a page online. The example that I'll use for you today, show you, is a project that I made that web scrapes stock news information from finviz.com. But again, these same techniques I will show you can work on any web page anywhere. So to show you how it works, I made this function called get all articles, and then takes in one parameter, which is just the ticker of any publicly traded stock. So here on the right you can see is Amazon, so we'll do that, AMZN, Amazon. And it returns the same news articles here on the right. So it starts with Twitter and targeting. Starts over here on the left, Twitter and targeting. Ends with top consumer staples, blah, blah, blah. Ends with top consumer staples, blah, blah, blah. This function also works with any other ticker. So let's say we do Apple. Ticker symbol is AAPL. If I run that, and then here I go to Apple. The last news article was these tech companies are staying, blah, blah, blah. And on the right you see these tech companies are staying, blah, blah, blah. I'll show you guys the easiest and quickest way to web scrape anything from a web page online. And I'll include all the code in the description below if you just want to copy the code. But here's how you do it. So you can do it on any web page anywhere. Go to Python 3, and to do this you're going to utilize two very important packages. One is requests, and one is beautiful soup from a bigger package called BS4. Also, if you don't have these, outside of the Python, all you have to do to install is just pip install requests or anything, and it'll install them for you. So to get started, first thing we need to do is initialize a list, because we're going to be saving all of these news articles, right? So let's call it all articles. Just initialize a list. Next thing you want to do is get the URL. So page equals the URL that I just copied from over here. Oh, sorry. You have to put them in strings because it's a string. Boom. Then we're going to be using our first package called request. Just do r equals requests.get, and then you put in the URL, so just page. And now you can see what it looks like. If you just do r.content, you'll get all this messy, jumbled up HTML code. And this is actually the same code you would see if you go over here on the right on any page and you just right click, hit view page source, and it's going to show you the HTML code of that page. By doing this, you're kind of viewing the same thing. So going back, we need to clean it up, right? So that's what the next package, beautiful soup, helps you do. So you can make a soup of it, as they call it. So make a variable called soup equals beautiful soup r.content, and then we're going to be using the HTML parser. So you put that in there as well. And this is going to kind of beautify things. So if we run soup, you can see it's kind of spaced out a little bit more. It's kind of chunked together. So that's the basic idea. So then you want to go back to your page after you've done those things, and you want to see what you want to get. So for me, I wanted to get these news articles. So if I just right click, hit inspect, this element page shows up on the right. And over here, you can see as you move your cursor around, it jumps this line over here to different things, right? But the one that we're trying to get right now is wide web bush sees whatever, right? So here you can see that it has this A tag. This is very important to notice that the first thing from the left caret is the tag name. So we have an A tag. So the first thing we can do, because we know we're looking for that, would be make a new variable called, we'll call it article soup, equals soup.find underscore all, and then A. And side note, A tag actually means a link. So you'll notice that these are links. If I clicked on them, if I clicked on these links, it would take me to another page, right? So that's just what the A tag means. So when I run this right here, and then I run that in my terminal, I get all of the links from the page. So not only these ones, but every link on here. This link, they're all here. If you look a little closer, you can see a lot of HTTPS everywhere, right? So that's the first step. Next, we kind of need to see what distinguishes these other links from these other general links. And also, this is the kind of thought process you have to do on any page that you're web scraping. It's kind of like what's unique about the thing you're getting that's different from every page. So if I go to another one and I inspect it, it's also an A tag, right? And it has this class equals tab dash link dash news. So let's see if another one has that same tag or that same class. Also an A tag with class equals tab dash link dash news. So that's something unique that we know is like in all of these, right? So we go back to our function soup.findAll.a. We can do comma and then zoom in even more with these brackets. So we do class in a string colon tab dash link dash news, which we found inside of the elements. End it. Boom. Now we do article soup. Now these are just the article names, right? But it's still a little bit ugly because we still see all this href stuff. We don't want that, or this A class has all the stuff that's not just the text. We only want the text. So we'll keep that in mind. But first we can loop through them all. So for I in range of the length of what was the name of the function? Article soup. Yeah, first let's just see how long this is. You can see how long something is by doing len, meaning length. And it says it's 100 long, so there's 100 news articles here. So if we do a for loop for I in range of the length, meaning it'll loop through for as long as this article or the list is, it'll do this function. We want it to print article soup indexed at I. Now it's going to print them out one by one. So now each different line has its own article. So now if we want to get rid of all this extra stuff, all we have to do is just add a dot text to the end, and then we're basically done. So for I in range of the length of all articles, boom, print all articles index at I, and then dot text. And for some reason it didn't do anything. Oh, I forgot to tab over, I believe. And then to get rid of all the extra stuff we don't want, we just put a dot text to the end. So for I in range of the length of article soup, print article soup index at I, and then just dot text. And this is going to print out all of them with just the text. And now the beautiful thing is, this is just for Amazon, right? But say you want any other company like NVIDIA. If you just write that same code in a function, which I have saved over here on my other screen. This is the code right here. The same stuff that we just wrote, basically. Called get all articles. And then you just put in the ticker. So NVIDIA's ticker is NVDA. It'll get NVIDIA's code. Boom. Here's articles about NVIDIA. Starting with, let's see here. U.S. stocks climb to fresh records. U.S. stocks climb to fresh records. And then the only thing that this function has that we didn't just code previously is that the page name, remember that we manually put in that is just https.finviz blah, 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 and then has the ticker at the end. If you inspect the URL, the URL is exactly the same. It just has like NVIDIA here. So if you can just kind of take that out and keep putting in your own string. So if I put in AAPL, it'll take me back to Apple. See? So if you just, the basic thing you want to do when you want to web scrape any page and you want it to be repeatable on other pages is just look for the patterns. So here we notice that this ticker, everything else is the same besides the ticker. So that's the important thing to notice for the URL. And then for these news articles, we noticed that they all had the same A, meaning they're all tagged with a link, and then they also had the same class called tab link news. So then we just made this line in the soup.findAll class tab link news. And then furthermore, if you want this code, it'll be in the description. And also I even took it a step further to find, say you only wanted to get news to a certain date. I also have that in this code as well. It'll be in my GitHub. I'll also have in the description, where basically, say you only wanted to get news up until 2 days ago. You just put in the number 2 in the parameter with the ticker symbol, and it'll do that for you. And I can actually show you that right now really quickly. So if I quit out of here, open a new Python 3. Run all this code I have over here, am I right? And then I run the function print get articles within date, any company. So let's say we want capital 1. The ticker symbol of capital 1 is COF. So you put that in there, and then the second parameter is just how many days ago. So say we only want 4 days ago, right? We run that, let's see what happens. What the? Oh, sorry, I forgot another parentheses on that. Okay, yeah, I messed that up. So I put 2 parentheses at the end there. There we go. You see all these printed right here? If I just go to COF, Capital One Financial. We said 4 days ago, right? So today is November 15th. Boom. November 14th, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. So the last article that is posted here is the Klein Law Firm reminds. So you should see that here. The see how it ended right here? The last call firm law reminds investors of Class A action on behalf of shareholders. On behalf of shareholders. Boom, boom. So if you want that code, that'll all be inside of my GitHub. This works for any ticker symbol. And then also the whole idea behind the purpose of this bot is it is a important component inside of a stock predicting overall bot that me and the other software engineers and data engineers at 4Cube are making to predict stock movements. And it's getting this information here because it's going to run a sentiment analyzer to get the kind of like opinion mining to see what is the sentiment behind a certain stock. So say Apple, like what is the machine learning sentiment behind the news articles? What is the sentiment behind this week's news articles? What's the sentiment behind this last month's articles? So that's the whole idea behind this. If you're interested in the code, it'll be in the GitHub. Thanks for joining us.